घर पे मांगेगा।
वो उनकी तरफ से हो रही होगी शायद। All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's EduRevolution. Uh, Today we have Umang Haryana School with us, who have been an exemplar school in teaching us how and what student partnership looks like, and how can we truly achieve and what sort of outcomes, beautiful outcomes it leads to. So I welcome you all to today's session. We will just also just letting everyone know the session is live on YouTube as well. So if someone is not able to access the Zoom meeting, we will share the YouTube link shortly in the chat box, and you can share it with all the relevant people. Yes. Welcome everyone. Uh, I hope you all have introduced yourself in the chat box. Uh, Before we start the presentation, I really just want to take this moment to introduce Sarthi Collective. This is a collective that like-minded organization who truly believe in student partnership and student agency have come together to create a platform where, in partnership with students, we advocate for educational improvements or outcomes in education that students and adults want together, right? And Sarthi stands for Students Advocacy for Agency Realization through Holistic Impact. And one really a big highlight for me for being in this collective as a part from involved is that we try to, I mean, we're still in the process, but we're trying to truly achieve student partnership in this journey of advocacy. And so that is about us. And I will now hand over the mic to Umang Haryana students. Uh, Ananya and Chetana, if you are ready.
Hi, good morning. So, should we wait like 5 minutes for some more people to join, or should we start?
We have about, let me quickly see, we have about 30 participants. We had 100 signups, so we can maybe wait for 2 minutes. But meanwhile, can you also talk about your school and, anything that people have to know about your school? What is so different about Umang?
I think you will find a lot about it in today's webinar, but yeah, let's see. Uh, I think we asked in the chat box that what do you think the school should be different? So, if all the participants can answer that, what do you think should be changed in the education system, or what do you think is not right currently? Uh, Amgali from Sunbird Trust has read, Hi everyone. If I could change one thing about schools, then it would be the changing of teaching and learning process from the traditional rote learning to critical thinking based learning. So yeah, that is also kind of what Umang aims to be. We are changing the pedagogy to make it more experiential learning based and uh, different from what the traditional schools have been teaching us. So yeah, there's a stark difference in the pedagogy as well. But today we'll be focusing on the student agency, leadership, and student councils.
Yes, I think I'll also read a response that we had from
If
Siddhi
everyone
when
else
we.
could also share their views, it would be nice.
Yeah, I'll quickly do that. Siddhi had typed that if there is one thing that she would want to change, it would be changing the pedagogy from teacher driven to self learning. Okay, Ananya, Chesta, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, and we also have more responses on the chat. And just adding to that, Ananya, I think many people have joined from one device together. So we may not also reach, like maybe out of the 100 participants, many have joined together as I can see. So yeah, I think we can start in about 2-3 minutes once people have responded on the chat.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right. I'll just read everyone's responses till then, okay? So Malvika ma'am, you have wrote that, good morning everyone. If I could change one thing about schools, it would be changing the pedagogy from teacher-driven to self-learning from City. And Bhakti ma'am has wrote, if I could change one thing about schools, it would be exams, the pressure of exam on the student. So right now, if we share something at Umang actually, so I've been studying here for quite a long time. So if I share, exams are not really a pressure here. So we try to make them as open space as possible. It's not like everyone has to sit and look forward on desks and benches. Actually, we have a very open environment. So students are allowed, they can go out, they can sit wherever they want on the ground near a tree whenever they can. So that is one important aspect. You can give exams wherever you like, whenever. There's no aspect that, oh, they will cheat. There's a trust in students. So really, the pressure of exam is something that we don't like to see. And Ayushi Agarwal is saying, hi, I am Ayushi Agarwal from ITM Education. If I could change one thing, I would like integrate adaptive learning in school so that every student gets chance to cover their learning gap. So I think we have everything to share for every single point. Actually, in our school, it's not just a simple first, second, third, fourth grade standard. So even in the grade, we have different groups. So like group A, B, C, like that. So when we do that, students are divided based on their different learning capacities, like that. So it's not that everyone is learning from the same methods. We try to change things up depending on the child. Would everyone else like to write?
I can see that a lot of students have joined. If anyone wants to say what would they like to change about the education system. All right, Ananya, I think as more responses are coming up, we can slowly start sharing, proceeding with the session. Or would you want to wait a little longer? Not able to hear you, Ananya. Are you on mute?
So maybe we can wait 2 more minutes and start at 11:10.
Yeah, that works. Does anyone want to come off mute and share what is one thing that you would want to, what is one change that you would want to bring about? We have one more response on the chat.
So Kamlesh
Yeah.
sir has wrote that if I could change one thing, then I would include more sports activities. Students really love sports. We actually advocate so much for more sports time in our school. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Ananya, let me know when you would want me to go to the next slide.
Okay. We can start, should we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you can, you know, move to the next slide. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar on student agency and leadership through student council at Among School. I'm Chista. I'm currently in 10th class, and I'm a student at Among for past 5 years. And during this time, I had a privilege to serve in various roles within the student council as president, opposition leader, and class representative. And as for Umang, so Umang is an alternative which, oh, ma'am. Ma'am, can you go back to the first one? First slide.
Yeah, I've changed it now.
No, can we go? Yes, okay. So as we speak of Umang, so Umang is an alternative education school that practice democratic values to make them a lived reality in our society. So we are based in Gannaur, Sonipat, Haryana. We started our school in 2012 under Disha Trust and sorry. So we started in 2012 under Disha Trust. Our school is from pre-nursery to 10th class. So hi everyone, I'm Ananya. I'm currently studying in 10th grade at Umang School. I've been studying here for the past 7 years and I've been a president, vice president and class representative in the student council. So today I would like to thank everyone who has joined today for taking the time joining us to learn more about our student council. We have people from different organizations all over India and schools as well. So thank you so much. Today we'll be sharing insights into how the student council functions, how it's why it's essential, how it builds agency and leadership. So thank you so much for joining, and we hope you find this session inspiring and insightful. So now let's see what we'll be discussing in today's webinar. Ma'am, can we change the slide? Can we go to the next slide? Okay. All right. Because Sarthi is a collective made for promoting student agency and inculcating student agency in different schools around India. So today we'll be seeing what student agency is and how our student council plays an important role in building student agency in our school. We'll also be seeing what the need for the student council is, some of the values and principles that we try to inculcate in our curriculum and we hold them very dear to our hearts, how the student council functions, how it is elected, and we will also see how autonomous it actually is rather than maybe you'll get an idea into how we are more autonomous than most of the councils than you've ever maybe heard. And if after all that you want to start a council in your own school or your own organization where you study or maybe you teach, then we'll maybe share some ideas and you can take help from us. So now let's move on. All right. So first, we would all like to ask you guys one question. Uh, how would you define in one word what you think student agency is? What does student agency mean to you? Can you all write in the chat box, everybody? Right, just one word, but you think student agency is. Like, I think student agency is ownership, it's leadership, it's decision making, like that. Everybody, as fast as possible in 30 seconds, can you just say what you think student agency is? And as everybody is answering, I'll just read from Pari from 6th C. Technology has become an integral part of most students' learning experiences and educational institution. We can add more technology and students will also get interest in studies. Yes, we absolutely agree with Bari. And Siddhi from IT just said ownership. Real Akansha, ownership. And Ritik Singla, community. So yeah, we have two ownerships, and everybody else, Nandita has believe ownership. Everybody, please, in one word, what do you think ownership is? What do you think? Right? We have three ownership, one community. Anybody else? Just 5 more seconds. Decision making. All right, now we'll continue. Thank you, everyone. Ownership, Andita. Leadership. Leadership. Responsible. Power to influence. Ownership. And also leadership. Yes.
Okay, now we can move on to our next slide. थोड़ा तेज बोल दो, इसका clear बोलोगे? Okay, now let's see what is agency. So a learner agency refer to the feeling of ownership and control that learner have all on have their own learning. So when students believe that their action can make a difference, they become more confident, engaged, and effective learner. So for that, in Uma, we build an environment and culture where students are free to express themselves. We try to build a judgment-free environment in which students can give their thoughts and an idea about it. And students make decision of their own, and students are given a voice and a choice for a decision that affect them. Okay, and students make decision for their school and learning. So this is what agency look like in Umang and what is agency. So you can move on to the next slide.
So we talked about agency. So it's decision making, it's leadership, it's ownership, everything. So we think a major part is that we build student agency in our school is the student council. So the student council is basically autonomous body of the students where students elect their representatives, their leaders who will get their voices heard, who will get their aspiration, dreams, ideas for the future heard and implemented, and they are just what we aspire the school to be, how we build student agency in our school. It inculcates every part of student agency. They are the ones who are making the decision. They are the ones who are taking the lead in every aspect of the school. So that is what we think the student council is to us. It is a very important part of every student who has ever studied from Umang and every student who's studying currently. It's one of the most exciting educational and exciting parts of our school, and we would love to share it with you today. And
मैं नहीं आ रहा हूँ। नहीं थोड़ा थोड़ा करके
somebody
लिया।
saying something.
Actually, I think there's some kind of a network issue.
Should we continue? Yeah, can we go into the next slide? Yeah, Malvika ma'am, can we move on to the next slide? So that is what we think student council is, just a way for students' voices and choices to be heard. So now let's see what the need for the student council is, why we think student council is important in our school, as well as all the schools in India, as well as the world. So can we go on to the next slide? No, ma'am, the slide before this one. The slide before this one.
Can you tell me the title of the slide, Ananya? Is it before the need for the student council?
We know what the student council is now. So why do we need the student council? Why can't we just build student agency any other way? Because student council is the voice and the choice of all the students. Because in the end, the schools are about the students, right? They should be student centric, child centric, about what they want, what their needs are, how they learn. It should be like that. So, student council, the need for the student council comes from the need for the students' voices and choices, and that is what the student council does. Because students are not just some people, not inanimate objects that you teach and fill their brains with information. You have to build them. You have to build them like human beings, their skills and everything else. So, student voice and student choice is what uh, elaborates the need for the student council, because when students get a chance to say what they feel like, what their choices are, what their ideas, their aspirations are, and they get to make choices that affect them, that affect their studying journey, that affect every part of the school that is spend most of their early life in, then that is the need for the student council. And another thing we see is leadership, because as we see that even in classroom when we are studying, we're just obtaining information, but how do we learn things that we actually need in life? That is what the student council promotes, right? Because in the 21st century, when you're in a group of people, you should know, if you're the leader, how you're going to uh, push them forward, how you're going to motivate your team, how you're going to bind them together. Many important skills that we learned in the student council, because when you become a president, you lead the whole school, all the committees and all. And when you're a class representative, you know how to listen to every one of your classmates, know their problems, solve their problems. And that is a key role in the need for the student council. Why we need the student council? Because it develops the student voice, the student choice, as well as uh, leadership. Yeah. Next slide, please. So now, as we see that, yes, the student council is there, but what does it do, right? So the present education system that we're talking about, it was developed around like 100 years ago, and the according to the needs of that time, right? So according to that time, the industrialization was going on, and everybody wanted just workers who were unquestioning. But in today's life, do we really still need that same skill set? I think we need much more life skills to help us survive in this environment, as well as become a better human being in ourselves, right? So, about the student council, we learned the 4 C's of education: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. So, whenever we see this, so not everything about education is in a classroom learning science, maths, English, and languages and all that. But it is also in how much creative we are getting, because the school should be enhancing our creativity, not diminishing it, not demotivating us, but motivating us to broaden our horizons, learn more outside of the textbooks. So in the student council, we try to promote creativity. So whenever there is a problem in our school, we try to present it to the student council so they can find better solution, brainstorm, think of what we can do, right? So when we think, we always try to think that students will have better solutions, because they are the one who are experiencing the problem. If someone else tells us, oh, you should do this, you should do that, maybe students won't even follow it, or you'll need some harsh punishment or reward to make them follow it. But if students are the one making the decision, and they are the one who are creatively thinking, because students have a very high creativity, right? So student council helps them enable that, make them more creative. And as for collaboration, in our education system, I think we are trying to make individuals who are very self-centered. They only care about themselves, right? But you have to get the best marks. You have to become the best out of all your classmates, all your school. But actually, in a monk, we believe that nothing can be done as by a single person. You always have to have a group. You have to work as a team, right? So whenever we are talking about the student council, we always try to engage students with each other, try to let them work with each other, and just to learn how they have to collaborate with other people, opinion, people from different social groups, so they can learn how to collaborate with people. That is what the importance for the student council is at our school. And communication. So for me, if I share my own personal story, really, I was a pretty, I wouldn't say shy, but I couldn't speak in very big gatherings or in front of too many people. But actually, when I was encouraged to join the student council, then I felt like, okay, I have to do this. I have to speak for at least 15 to 20 minutes for me to have a chance. So there was this judgment-free environment where I knew I could speak freely. No one would judge me. I would just be uh, at the best of myself. And if I don't try this right now, I don't know when I will get the chance to. So that is, I think, a case for many of the students here, because when I finally got the chance to give my presidential speech, I think it broke that barrier from me. And now I think I'm comfortable speaking in front of a large group of people. So that is what the student council does. And I have been speaking in the student council, expressing my ideas, my thoughts, debating
देख
with
रहे थे कौन सा मीटिंग हुआ भाई
debating with the students, the teachers, and I think my communication has really improved, and the communication of many of the students, which will help them further in life. And critical thinking. So whenever students make a solution, maybe it won't work, maybe it won't be as right. But critical thinking is to think rationally. It's not just, oh, I want to do this, so I will do this. I don't care how the consequences are. We try to build a culture of accountability. Like, okay, you want this, you don't want this, but why do you not want this? Why do you want this? We try to make them think rationally, that every decision you are making has to have a reason, right? Then you should debate this reason and will come to a common consensus. So that is some skills that the student council develops in us, and that is the importance of the student council and how it builds life skills that are very important and are helping us as well as our alumni in their lives, in their personal as well as academic lives.
We can move on to the next slide.
Oh, okay. So when we talk about values and the student council, I think they go hand in hand. They're vice versa, right? Without a value-based system, the student council can't work up to its full potential. And without the student council, some values cannot be practiced. So the three values that we really believe in and the student council that we do not compromise on are equity, dignity, and liberty. Because we always think that in the learning in schools, it's always about teachers. But actually, the children are the one who are supposed to be learning, right? So I think it should be just as equal for teachers as well as students, because it's not one way that only the teachers are teaching and students are learning. There have been many instances where our teachers have said that, oh, I learned this from this student, oh, I learned this from this student. So I think if we keep an open mind, everybody is learning from each other, right? So we follow the principle of equity, where we try that everybody um, we try that everybody here is equal. Everybody sits on the floor. Actually, in our school, we have mats, and everybody sits in a circle on the ground. Teachers as well as students alike. Everybody is free to express their thoughts. Everybody is equal there. It's not like the teacher is above the students. So that is one value, and it's not only equality; it's equity. Yes, we all sit on the ground, but if a teacher or even a student has knee pain or maybe they're feeling sick, they can lie down, they can sit on a chair. It's just that we don't have some strict rules that are mindlessly you have to follow these. We try to be more empathetic towards each other. We try to understand each other. And as for dignity, what I have observed from schools around me is that students' dignity is not really considered really valuable. So students are like, oh, you can't do this, go, oh, you are not valuable, you can't do this, then go away, like that. So we believe that teachers are actually demotivating the students rather than motivating them. If a student is not good academically, if you just say, oh, you're not good enough, then they won't be improved, right? So we believe at Umang that teachers as well as students alike, everybody has a dignity and nobody has the right to hurt the students or a teacher's dignity and liberty. Yes, everybody is here is free to choose. Everybody here is free to express their ideas and how they think, how they want the school to be. And even a student, like as small as a second or third grade student, are easily questioning our teachers these days. So if a teacher is like did something wrong, like shouted at a student or something like that, we actually have whole debates like how could you do that? Some teachers who are new don't know our values. Students were like, okay, you can't do that, right? But liberty is not like that you can do whatever you want, no one will question you. We have a culture of accountability as well. Like, uh, yes, if you did something wrong, we won't beat you. There is no punishment. But actually, we will hold you accountable. We will ask you why you did that, why you shouldn't have done that. We try to make them understand rather than force something upon them. So that are the values that are in our student council. Now look at some of the principles that are in our student council that we do not compromise on in our school, in our council as a whole. Can we move on to the next slide?
So there are some principles that we follow in our school. So we believe that there should be no reward or a punishment. So we believe that this school is our school, and whatever we do is not for some greed or a fear of a punishment, but rather we want to make our school a better place. So we think that giving a reward or a punishment to a student kills the creativity of them, and also they do not become self-disciplined. So instead of giving reward, we give appreciation to the students who give out from their comfort zone and work hard for it. And there's no such kind of a punishment, but there's, as Ananya said, that there's a culture of accountability, that if something is done wrong, we talk about it and found out the reason behind all this doing and try to find out a suitable solution for this problem. And there's also no competition or a comparison in our school. So let's take it with an example. So imagine there are two students, student A and student B. So at a start of the session, student A scores 70 marks in a particular subject and student B scores 50 marks. And by the end, student A scores 75% marks and student B scores 70 marks. So who do you think have worked harder? We usually think that student A has worked harder by looking at the result, but both of the students are not on a same level playing field. They both are different. They come from a different background. They both have different culture. So we believe that this cannot be, there should not be a competition or a comparison between the students. And for the competition, we believe that we should not have a competition from others, but ourselves. We should become better than we were, not from others. So there's no such kind of competition on in our school or any first, second, third position. So these are the principles that we practice and are followed in our school. We can move on to the next slide.
So yeah, these were some of the principles that we don't compromise on what the student council is. So now let's look at how the student council is formed, how the student council comes into being after every new session. So let's see, just in a minute.
Are you able to see the screen?
No, it's not visible.
Actually, the chart is not visible that way.
Okay, just give me a second.
Just give us a second, everyone. So
Yeah,
till that, if
meanwhile,
everyone,
yeah, if they have any questions or any thoughts, they can share while I
like
figure
now
this
today,
out.
yeah, if you guys have any thought on our values, our principles, and how we build agency in our school, you can ask in the chat box or even turn on your mic and talk. And after that, we will see how the council is formed,
What
how
the
it
process
works,
is.
what the process is. Yes.
Anybody, if they have any question?
Just give us a minute. The slide will be working in just a while.
Hi, I am Siddhi from iTeach. I had a question. You said that there are no punishments given. That is one of the principles that you follow. So, then how do you go about it when someone makes a mistake or does something on purpose and it is wrong? Then what is the next step?
So as we say that there is a culture of accountability. So we ask, if anything is done wrong, we ask them for a reason, and
We try to like form this environment where they understand why they should not have done that, rather than just saying, oh, you did this wrong, sit down. Like if they cursed or if they gave an abusing language, we try to make them understand why you should not have done that, why it's wrong, and we ask them the reason why did you do that. And in our experience in our school, actually it has worked almost always that when we discuss with students, talk to them, what do you think should be your consequences, what do you think you should do, and they actually admit like, okay, I will try, I will not do that, but if I ever do that again, I agree that, oh, you should not let me do this, or I should not be a part of this activity just because I did this. Like if a student beats someone during the sports period, for example, and we talk to them why you did that, why you should not have done that, and after that when everything is sorted out, they're like, okay, I will not play in today's sports period and I will start tomorrow, or something like that, that they come to understand why they should not have done that.
and we also discuss the uh
So
the reason.
the suitable solution, we like if students are coming late, we discuss with them, what do you think should be done to stop you from coming late. So it's not just authoritative that they are saying you should do this, it's coming from the bottom up that students are saying that it should not.
And actually we ask them to tell us the consequence if they do that again, so they give us some thoughts and their reasons.
All right, so
Got it. Thank you.
fasting, I would like to know the reason why there is no reward principle. So yeah, we knew this would be quite controversial, but actually we believe that creativity is something that is the natural order of the students, right? So when a student is in pre-nursery, you don't need to give them a toffee in order for them to do their work, right? They are interested to learn more, they want to paint, they want to color. But as they grow up, we make it so that they will only work if we give them some sort of reward. So that is not true. Even if I haven't received any form of reward in my almost my whole school life, but I still want to do everything to make my school better, to make my academic life better. And it's not just related to me. Every student in our school, even without reward, they can. Yes, there has been question on, if someone does nothing and someone is working very hard, aren't you going to appreciate them? Yes, we appreciate them, but it's not like we're going to give them a certificate, oh, you're better than everybody else. And it also creates some sort of competition. Oh, they deserve a reward, I didn't. So growing up, when I was in some other schools, I was like, oh, she deserved the best dancer award, but I also danced good, right? Does that mean I'm not a good dancer? So that is something that something like an enmity in between the students that we don't want to promote.
Yeah, I think sometimes it discourage the other students. So that's also a thing. And as we say that we do give appreciation to all the students who participated, and yeah, who came out from their comfort zone. So I think we have answered your question.
Because if we give a reward, it would be like whoever gets the highest marks or whoever wins in this race. But actually, not every student is same, right? Everyone is different, and they should be appreciated for participating, moving forward, right? That intrinsic motivation for all.
Yes.
So,
Anybody else?
like, agreed, but how do you ensure intrinsic motivation for all? As for motivation, I think when you want to go ahead, when you understand why you should go ahead, why you should participate in a race, even if you don't get to become a goal first person or like that, I think it's just because of the joy of participating, the joy of learning. Because if you want to learn, then even if no one gives you a reward, then you will want to learn. And as for motivation, I think anyone who's interested, if your teaching methods are interesting enough, even without any punishment or any reward, a student will want to learn. It's just about the teaching methods. right? So if your teaching methods are boring, then maybe no matter how much reward or punishment you give in our schools, like there is an unbearable amount of punishment or there are many rewards, but yet students are not interested in learning because of the same rote learning and all. So if the learning is interesting, we don't need any motivation for a reward or a punishment.
To motivate students to participate in them. I think it's just our interests that we have to create. So okay, if anybody have any question.
Okay. So we are ready with the slide.
Okay.
So let's see how the student council is formed.
Okay. So as for the formation process, first election commission is made. Their main work is to conduct election in a free and fair. Okay, their main work is to conduct election in a free and a fair manner. So they have five members. First is a principal, a teacher, and three students. And the candidates are given a nomination form in which they have to fill some information about themselves and ask and answer some certain question like why they want to become a part of student council or what are their promises. So like that, and a debate is held 2 days before the election, in which every candidate have to present themselves in an open assembly, where they are questioned and they have to answer all the questions of the students and teachers. And in the meantime of 1 or 2 weeks, a candidate can have their own campaign in which they can promote themselves, and those who are a part of election commission cannot contend in the election. They cannot become a candidate as they're a part of election commission. And there's no such kind of a interview or academic barrier to take a part in election, as we think that if someone is good in academically, can does not have.
If someone is not good academically, it does not mean that they're always not going to be good as a school leader. Maybe there's some hidden potential that we would miss if we put up academic barrier. And
Yeah, and so as she says that there's no kind of academic barrier for students to take part in election, but there's but for being a nominee, there should be at least five a supporter of a participants, and they have given 2 days to form to fill their nomination form and convince students to be their supporter. So elections are held above third grade, and president is elected from 8th to 10th, and vice president is elected from 5th to 8th. So we have representation of both junior and senior students. And as per of class, the whole class plus their class representative vote for a class representative.
all right, so that was the formation process. Can we move on to the next slide? Right. So when we see that this whole process is taking place in our school, when you come, if you visit during the election time, you will feel like it's a whole festival. It's a celebration of the democratic process in our school. Every person, every student, every teacher who's voting or whoever is standing up as a nominee are very excited. Students feel like they finally have a say in what they want the school to do and how they think the school could be better. As you see some of these photos, students are very excited to cast their votes, choose their president, choose their class representatives, and we can try to carry out this whole process just exactly how the elections in our nation look like. So between the 2 week period of the campaigning, there are like vibrant rallies and student put up posters and there are debates. So one day before there are debates and everybody, the candidates give the speech and the students ask them, oh, you're saying this, but how are you going to do this? So there's this questioning that is very interesting in the assembly. And just on the election day, when it's buzzing with excitement and there's always this fair play that there are no mall practices, at least till now, that students understand that this is not some competition. This is not I have to become the president. This is just the celebration of the democratic process, that everybody has a vote, everybody has a value, that our voices as a student are being heard. And I think on the election day, when everybody is voting, it's not just about voting, it's the whole process of, getting your own voice in the school system. And it's like a way of getting your voices heard by the choices you are making. So even students who are from like third grade, who we usually believe won't understand these things, or they'll just vote for like a toffee or something, they are actually very vigorous about asking questions. So how are you going to put swings in our school? Okay, I need an answer how you're going to do this. So they're questioning on their own level, of understanding, but there's never this voting for a toffee or getting scared of a beating kind of thing. So the elections in our school look very interesting. If you want to come, you will be shocked at how interesting they are. And yeah,
We can move on to the next slide.
so this is a short video on how the election look like. This is the whole process. We hope you enjoy watching this. I'll just play in a minute. It shows the uh, it's just loading. Just give us a minute. It's kind of like a reel we made for our Instagram. So just so you guys know, our media team is also handled by the student council.
Yeah, I think it is.
So all these videos, all these short clips are edited, made, as well as posted by the members of the student council, the students themselves, everything that goes on. Are we able to play the video?
Malvika ma'am, are we are able to, start the video?
Can we play the video?
I think Malvika.
Looks like there is some sharing.
It's okay. If you're not able to play the video, we'll share our Instagram handle with you. The video is uploaded there, and maybe you can go there, watch it, and it will be an experience. You can discover the rest of our page as well. And if you're not able to play the video, I think we can move on. It's just about how the full process goes on.
Or we can share our screen if that's possible. Okay, you can. Matlab.
In the meanwhile, if anyone has questions on how the process goes, we can answer that. Anyone can write in the chat box, or even turn on their mic and ask. You guys can share your experience, what you are thinking about the council till now.
Yes. Is the video now playing? Okay. I think the voices. Okay.
Because we can't hear the video, maybe just watch the video. Let's see how everyone is picking out the ballot paper. They're ticking on it and putting in the ballot box. Everybody votes, the supporting staff, the teachers, the students, and the decoration and all the students they did. They were so excited for the council. So yeah, this is the live counting. The ballot papers are taken out in front of the whole assembly, and they count. So this is Nisha. She was chosen the president this year. This is Chaitanya from 5th class, and Nisha was from 8th grade. This is Prem and Alok, the opposition currently.
So yeah, I think the video is now. We can move on to the next slide. So, as for the committee, so the class representative who are chosen take up any ministry as per their interest, and it is same for the teacher. Teacher also choose a committee for as their interest, and each committee has 6 members, a minister, a teacher, and 4 members. So a group of them form a committee. So we have 6 committees. I will start with finance. So it is a new committee for us also that is introduced last year, in which we try to make a children bank in which students can save up their money for a trip or a tour or a country in our school. So it is still under process, but it is getting better day by day. And as for health and environment, so as health and defense. So in health and defense committee, they check the first aid box and conduct a health camp in which there's eye checkup and blood checkup or a dental checkup camp. And at the end of the whole camp, there's a report is made for as for the results, as for a conclusion. And last year, when we had the camp, we students noticed that most of the students in our school are malnutritious. So for that, the health committee take up the responsibility and write an application to the government hospital of our school and asking them to provide basic medicines like vitamins, irons to the students. And we also volunteer in specific camps like eye checkup camp or a blood donation camp. So students also go there and volunteer. And as for the defense committee, so defense committee makes students aware about good touch, bad touch, menstrual cycle and all. And they also conduct a session on abusive language. So in that session, we try to understand the meaning behind all those words and then discuss that whether we should really be using all these offensive words. And surprisingly, there's a drastic change in the attitude of students as they stop speaking all those words, and then they realize that okay, this is so this is not anything that you can speak. And it was a very effective session. And we can move on to the next slide as we introduce all the
All the
committees
different
to
committees. So this is the academic committee, and the beginning when we asked you what we should change about the system, I think someone said that it should be more student centered, not just teacher centered. So from the beginning, we try to involve the students in the whole process, the whole learning process. So in the beginning, the students are the one who are the part of the calendar making process, who decide when the exams will be taken, when the unit tests will be, how we're going to study, what will be the syllabus, how much the timetable even at subject sheets, and even the date sheets are decided after the approval of the student council. So the academic committee plays a significant role in involving students in the whole process of learning, because after all, learning should be child centric, and if we don't involve students, then what's the point, right? So we try to involve the students in the learning process as much as possible. These are some photos of the different activities, field visits, and we try to do more experiential learning than just sitting in a classroom with a book, and just different things that maybe a student will enjoy way more than just sitting in a classroom with a book and learning whatever is in that book. We try to explore more different various ideas. And can we move on to the next slide? So the next committee is sports committee. So when we talk about the sports committee, we don't have a sports teacher as per in our school currently due to the lack of resources. But that has never been a problem to us as of now. The students who are and a teacher who are interested the most in sports take up the responsibility by themselves. They uh, conduct a fitness camp every year where they measure the physical ability of every student and teacher. There are 500-meter races, 50-meter races, there are mobility checks, flexibility tests, and all that things. And then finally, students make a report, and then throughout the whole year, they work on everyone and what they need to improve. The sports committee is also the one who take up the responsibility for the morning or evening session of the sports period. They conduct the warm up, bring up different games, advocate for new sports equipment, for new swings as such. And that is what the sports committee does. Even for programs, when there needs to be a performance, sports committee take up the lead. And students who maybe learn sports outside or are interested in sports take part in the sports committee.
We can move on to the next slide. Uh, so next up is a cultural committee. So the main job of cultural committee that they conduct all our trips, our tours, our celebrations, and all our festivals and this. And they also take up the responsibility of our morning assembly. So we do, and so in our school we do not believe in any religion, as we think that it is an individual matter. So rather than having prayer in our morning assembly, we sing songs and poems, and this is led by cultural committee. So and we also organize a night camp in which students stays overnight at school, as we have a cultural night and we learn how to make tents, and we also prepare our dinner by ourselves. So there are some fun activities, and by the midnight students go on a round of our city and explore the night services while playing a game called treasure hunt, in which we find clues in different areas of our city, like while going for a hospital to a police station. And by doing that, our last destination would be a Shamshan Ghat or a Kabristan. So we know to break the superstition. So if I speak of my experience, it was really new for me and really, different actually. As I was, when I was not in the school, I was really afraid of ghosts and all. But when I get to know that, okay, there's no such things like ghosts. So it helped me also while going to Shamshan Ghat or Kabristan. And students really enjoy being a part of night camp, and it is also very educational for them. As we also believe that, and we also celebrate all the festival in our school as much as it is possible. So from Eid to Diwali to Holi to Teej, that is our Haryana's cultural festival. So we try to celebrate all the festival as much as we can. So yeah. Now we can move on to the next slide. So next up is an environment committee. So there's also a factor in our school that we clean our school premises by ourselves. So from teachers to students, they all clean the school. So for maintaining that, we have a environment committee. So they make a Safai chart in which everyone has a specific area they have to clean, and the Safai chart is renewed after 3 months, so no one can vote for one place. And we also do gardening of our school by ourselves. So like Safari chart, everyone has assigned a particular area in which they have to do the gardening. So this is also from, so both teacher and students do this all collectively. And the cleanliness of our school is also the responsibility of the environment committee. And for the gardening, actually, I thought that gardening is really easy. That okay, what we have to do, just give water to the plant and they will grow. But actually, doing gardening also connects students with the nature, so it is also helpful and very meaningful for them also. So yeah, we can move on to the next slide.
So now we have some videos actually. If we can play them with the audio, that would be great. Otherwise, we can move on to the other.
सोशल स्टडी
Yes. So,
यदि हम बात करें
can we?
स्टूडेंट काउंसिल क्यों जरूरी है और उससे क्या पॉजिटिव चेंज आए हैं या फिर उसकी वजह से टीचर्स की अथॉरिटी में कोई घाटा हुआ है या इजाफा हुआ है उसके बारे में। तो यदि हम देखें अथॉरिटी सब ऑल टुगेदर हम थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव सेंस में देखते हैं क्योंकि अथॉरिटी का मतलब
Am I that audio is really audible? Hello.
Will be able to play this, or should we just move on? All right, if then anyone has any questions or any remarks or whatever you're thinking, just share it in the chat box.
Hi, I had a question. I wanted to ask about how the meetings run for the student council. What is the structure that you follow?
So actually, I've said that there's a monthly meeting on every first Saturday. So the president conduct the whole meeting in which students prepare their future plan, like whole committee prepare a plan in which they have to speak about their past plan, like what they have done in the past month and what's their future plan. So, and same for the class representative, they have to give update of their syllabus, like if there any if they're facing any
Problems or anything like that. So one by one, every class representatives tells the whole school about is everything okay in the class, if they need anything, if there's anything going wrong or like that. We discuss the problems. So whenever a committee presents their plan, there are two main parts. First of all, they question each other. You said you would do this, you didn't do this. You said you're doing this, but this was not done properly. So there's a lot of questioning, and there is also a lot of conflict resolution. If different people have different ideas, there are debates like, oh, we should do this like that. No, we should do this like that. So the council discusses upon it, comes on decision. So that is how the meetings work. The president conducts all these discussions.
and actually at the end of the meeting we have we take meeting minutes. So at the end we we take sign of all the ministers so that they agree that what we have concluded in the
So
meeting.
the vice president takes the meeting minutes, and the opposition leader is also present in the meeting. So their job is to basically ask questions and just make sure that everything is not just, oh, we did this very good, very good. So it's always a question of counter questioning each other just to make our school better. It's not a fight that the opposition is against the president, because there was a time when I was the president and she was the opposition, but it wasn't like we were against each other, oh no, she has to oppose everything I do and I don't have to follow anything she says. We kind of worked as a team, and she always pointed out, oh, you should do this or you should not do that. So yeah, it's a positive role, positive.
And there's another question that student council have to handle so much things, don't they, this affect their studies? So I think that being in a part of student council is, a part of study also. We, learn a lot more than I think we learn in our textbook. So, we practice all those social science things, like political science things in reality. So I think this actually help us to study as we manage our all the things.
Yeah, and if we are concerned about how we do the, uh, actually traditional studying, that we have to give the board exams and all. So for that, we have decided that every month we'll have one Saturday, and on that Saturday, there's actually a teachers meeting. So they have to actually do half day, but we decided to not do half day, and the rest of the half day, the teachers are doing the meeting, or we actually have a free day. The council plans that day, and on that day, there are meetings. It's called Fun Saturday or Joyful Saturday. We have the meeting, so it's not between classes. It's not. We have a special day where we'll just do the meetings. We'll do the planning. We'll do the different activities we're thinking we will do. So yeah, studies don't get affected this way. But yeah, we tried that no studies affected, right? So it's not like everybody is studying, but we need to do this, so they'll get out of the class and do that. But it's also not that we only need to study that. Student council is a second priority. They'll go hand in hand. Uh, can you share the video separately if possible on WhatsApp? Yeah, we can do that, and everybody who's there will share the videos, and we'll also share our accounts, Instagram accounts, so you can go there and look at it. Also, we lots of videos there. Do the vice presidents also get a chance to become a minister, or president and vice presidents don't? If not, then what's their role exactly? All right. So, as I have been a president and vice president, she has also been. So, the thing is that we try not to make them a minister, because if then they will all be stick to one committee. They'll have to work on one committee. But we try that the vice president and president's role is to be a part of all the committees. Like, they don't do all the planning and work, but they try to give suggestions, or they try to cooperate between different committees. If there's like an event where two committees have to cooperate together, then the president helps them to cooperate, and the president is part of every activity, but they're just not the in the planning and all that part. The president takes a look on the overall school activities, not just on a particular activity. So their role is just to look at the school overall, areas which the committees do not cover. And yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Actually, we really like it when someone follows our Instagram handle, because we're working pretty hard on it, but we barely have any followers. So it will be a great motivation. We'll share our handles. It's in the PPT. If you all of you can also.
Actually, there is one more question that we actually skipped. Said, why? What do you do when some students do not attend towards free meetings?
So actually, it's like, if we have this system where if a student became the class representative, if they, because they just wanted to, like, oh, it will be cool, and then they don't become a part of their council meetings and don't show any interest, we have a process where they have to come in a meeting. They have to explain why they're not doing it. They are questioned, and if we feel that they are not becoming a part, the rest of the council votes, and they have to give a resignation letter, and if the council accepts the resignation letter, they will be removed from their position, and there will be another person selected for this position.
Yeah. So, and if any students or the majority of the students do not, like the work of a representative, so they, question him that why did you do that and why are you not participating in the meetings? And if they still do not, show interest, students can, there's a, matlab,
There is a just a designation process, but we haven't really had to follow that much. It was once that someone was a minister, and they couldn't really bear the weight of doing all those activities, and they felt like they couldn't do it. They didn't want to be a part of the meeting, so they handed in their resignation, and if the council accepted it. But it's not like we remove students very often. We try to give them as many chances as possible. All right, if we can't play the video, can we have
If-
the
have
Yeah,
one more question.
we would want to try playing the video just one more time. If that doesn't work, we'll move on to the next slide.
Okay, we have one more. We have one more question. What if someone is misusing the post? Actually, for us, this has not happened till now that someone has misuses the post.
So yeah, sometimes I can remember one example. So in a meeting, the president usually conducts a meeting, and the opposition is also there. So there was this some debate going on, and the opposition was speaking, and the president said, "Oh, now you shut up, because we don't have much time." But that was when everybody protested, like, "Oh, you can't do that. Just because you're the president doesn't mean you can tell the opposition to stop. You are conducting the meeting, but you don't have the right to stop others from speaking." So yeah, the president was then misusing the post, but they didn't really understand why they were. So there was a long debate on why you shouldn't do this. If you're conducting the meeting, you have to be non-biased. So after that, she did not do that. So if someone is missing the post, first of all, we try to make them understand as always. But if they're still not bothering, again, the resignation system prevails.
Yeah, so I think the students, raise their voices and,
I have, but do you get any problem in your Instagram handle? Actually, it's just we take a phone from a teacher or something, we make the videos. We haven't really faced any much problem till now.
yes.
Yes.
So we have a media team that handle all our,
So I'm
social media.
like I'm part of the media team, so I have the school's account in my own personal phones or in my parents' phone, so I can even work from home or not in schools. I can record the teacher's phone and then send it to me, and then I edit and work on it and then post it on our social media. So yeah. It's really a learning process. It's not a problem to all of us. And it's not like if we don't do it properly, we'll face any consequences, like because everybody knows we're just learning. Yes.
Ananya, we'll try the video if you're ready.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
we can try them.
From
the first one. So that video is actually about we asked the teacher, do you think that the authority of the teacher has been diminished? Because when they have so much power and now the student council is there and many of the powers have been decentralized. So if they have a problem, so that's a video I will share. You can watch that to know the teacher's perspective on the student council. And there's also a video when a student expresses how the student council has changed them, how it has changed their overall personality. That we will also share. So it's okay if we can't play it now. We can share them later.
Or I think we can screencast so that.
Is the video playing now?
Actually, the audio is not audible.
It's okay. We can just move on to the next slides. It's no problem. Really, anyone who's interested can watch it later. Let's just go to the next slides. All right. So after hearing all this, and you'll watch the videos later, you might want to build a council in your school. Someone is also asking, how do I mobilize the teenagers in my school to work like this? So I think the student council is not just about having elections or building a council, and we think it is a combination of the whole environment, the whole school, how the school functions, how the practices are. So I think the main part is that if you start a council, you may feel that your powers have diminished or that your power has been decentralized into the students and they may question you now. So I think first of all, you have to be prepared that students will question you and you have to accept that students can question you and you have to accept their power. So the first thing is to provide them a platform where they can express themselves without any fear that if they say something against a teacher, they will get punished or like that. They have to have a platform where they can express themselves without any fear. And another thing is a value-based environment. So another thing, so if a student council is there, but the values are not there, then all these things will happen, right? That students will misuse their power or students will do malpractices and all that. But if we have a value-based environment and it is inculcated in every part of the school, the every day of their classroom, from the daily lives, their sports. And if we implement these values, try to make them, instill them in every student, then maybe building a council will become easier. And if anyone has any queries on how to build a council and how they should do this, they should do that, then we feel to free to contact us. We will love to help. We will always want to see more student councils doing the same work, doing good work. And yeah, can we just go to the next slide? So after all this, we want to ask you guys a question. So how do you think the council at Umang is different? So maybe you have seen some councils in your life, or maybe in your school currently, or maybe in some schools around you. How do you think the council at Umang is different? And maybe any other question you might have, if you can do that. And we'll just share our Instagram pages right now. Can we just go to the next slide? And meanwhile, I think we have some questions. So these are our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube handles. And if you want to go to our website, this is umangharyana.org. And we have a whole page dedicated to the student council. You can visit that and learn more. And some questions are asking about how teachers' points of view. So
Actually, the videos are on that actually.
so the video was about the teacher's point of view. So I'll just explain to you in the short what he was trying to say. So he said that the authority of the teacher has been diminished, but it's not in a negative way, because the authority is a negative thing. It's in itself, right? So it's a top to down approach that a teacher will say something and students have to follow it. But if we build a bottom to top approach where students have consensus, accepted it by heart, then you don't need any external power to force them to do it, right? So if maybe it's a top to down approach, students will find a way to go just hide from you, do it when you're not present there. But if the students have accepted the rules that are in the school, they know by heart why they should do this and not do that, then maybe even if no one is present there, they will do that. So that is the teacher's point of view, that students should have authority.
And
So-
I think this also make their they also help the teachers so that they don't have to only pressurize students to follow something. And if students have already implemented them on their life, there I don't think that they teacher will face any difficulties.
Yeah, for example, once a private school teacher came into our school and they were like, why is there no teacher in the playground when everyone is having lunch and playing? Or there was a night camp, everyone was like, why is no teacher so worried about what the students will do? Because usually they're like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Students, they are constantly worried about what the students will do. But if we have liberty here, students can do what, and it's not always about that you have to follow the teachers. You can do what you feel is right, but actually there is a value-based culture. The students don't always have to go about. They can also enjoy their time at the school. So the teacher's perspective is also a positive about this. And
Yeah.
how to build trust among students.
I think that if we make them work together as a team, I think they will start, trusting and collaborating with each other. So it all and
Yeah. So
this is
in
a
our school,
factor
it
and
is
it's a value in our school that we make students, work together as a team and make, collaborate and communicate with each other. So I think this will help students to build a trust among themselves.
So actually, our school is quite a diverse school. We have students from low-income families as well as high-income families. So it has always been that they come from two different worlds, and it's first of them hard to integrate with the other students here who are living such a different life to them. But it actually helps them to know the world better, know the things better like that. So the best way to build trust among students is to just let them be students. If you don't do anything and you just leave them for one class, the class unity is enough to build trust among each other. And maybe if you feel like there is no trust, there was a time in our school when two classes were fighting. So they had like zero trust in each other. They were like, oh, they're wrong or they're wrong. So for that, we conducted a session. Everybody was like, So the teachers conducted it, and they were like, "Oh, just say everything, and what's the issue is." And everybody was like, "Oh, they do that, or they do that." So we tried like everybody is done now, so that's okay. You did that; it was wrong. Now let's move on. Let's try to build a better future. So that's what we try to do. That we try to sit together and solve the problems, talk to each other, because talking is the best way.
So there's a next question, that how do you handle students who are having anger issue? So I think there are some students in a past session that had anger issue, like in our there's lot of fight in our previous school.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
So what we did was, really, for everything as a solution in our school is just sit
talking.
down, talk, and even one time it does not work, you have to talk twice, you have to talk thrice. And we talk as much, try to make them understand, and till now it has worked very much pretty good.
Yeah, eventually they start to understand all these things. So
I'll share a story. So there was one student who came from a private school, and he came here because his parents believed that he was very abusive, and he did not do anything without punishment or that sort of. He was very accustomed to the ways of the other schools, and he was very angry all the time, and maybe just not integrated into our value-based system. So what we did was, over the span of 2 years, we talked to him so much that the teachers, even during classrooms, they didn't point him out that, oh, you are bad, but they tried to talk to him. They tried to understand why he was feeling so. And after that, we can see when he went back to that school in 11th, now the teachers are saying that he's changed so much, and he actually tries to understand others. And so I think the whole system, the value-based system, when you try to talk to students, they do understand over a span of time.
any other question?
Anyone, if you're wondering anything, or maybe have some remarks or
And
anything.
the question we asked you guys, that what's
Yeah.
the difference you find in our council and what you have seen in your area?
Hi, I had a question. You were talking about problem solving. I just wanted to know whether you follow any particular method of problem solving, any structure, anything in specific. I know you were talking about discussion. Can you share a few details about that? Because that is something that my like student council in my school is struggling with currently.
Can you repeat once more?
Yes. So hi, I'm Siddhi. I had a question about problem solving. So you were talking a lot about problem solving through student council, and I know that one method that you use is discussion. Is there any specific way that you follow how to problem solve, any structure or anything, any method, anything in specific that you do with regards to problem solving? How do you build this skill in your student council?
So we don't have a particular organized system. We just try to do things based on the situation. So the first thing, the main thing we do is just ask the student the reason. We don't try to assume things. We don't try to think that, oh, they did this, it should not be because of it. So first of all, we try to find out the reason, and then ask them, do you realize what you did was wrong? And after that, we just try to make them understand. And if they don't understand why they're wrong, we try to make them understand uh, how they are wrong. And if they don't understand that they are wrong, then maybe we can tell them that, oh, you should not do this because it is like this. So we don't have a set method for problem solving in our school.
Yeah.
But yeah, we try to do it based on the situation. Just have some empathy towards the student, understand their problems. No, don't look at it from a teacher's point of view, but from their point of view, how they must be feeling in that situation.
Or like why they are behaving like that. So maybe we can talk to their parents, or we can look at their, like, what culture they have come from. So yeah, as everyone have different personalities, so we can try to understand them for solving their
Because
problem.
some students, it's not their fault, it's the society they're living in, the family they're coming from. So first we try to understand them and then make them understand. So I think, can you hear the video
मेजर
now?
कुमार उमंग स्कूल 6 से 10th क्लास तक के बच्चों को मेंटरशिप प्रोवाइड कराता है।
So are you hearing the
यदि हम बात करें
Yes.
स्टूडेंट
Okay.
काउंसिल क्यों जरूरी है और उससे क्या पॉजिटिव चेंज आए, या फिर उसकी वजह से टीचर्स की अथॉरिटी में कोई घाटा हुआ है या इजाफा हुआ है, उसके बारे में। तो यदि हम देखें अथॉरिटी सब ऑल टुगेदर हम थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव सेंस में देखते हैं, क्योंकि अथॉरिटी का मतलब यही है कि हम फोर्सफुली किसी को कंप्लाई कर रहे हैं, किसी रूल रेगुलेशन को फॉलो करने के लिए, और कहीं ना कहीं उसकी उससे मर्जी नहीं। अगर हम बच्चे से कोई रूल मनवा रहे हैं तो बजाय कि उसको उसके बेनिफिट्स बताने के हम फोर्स करते हैं कि आपको ये चीज माननी है। यदि हम यहाँ देखते हैं, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा अलग चीजें हमें देखने के लिए मिलती है। एक बॉटम अप अप्रोच देखने के लिए मिलती है, एक टॉप टू डाउन अप्रोच देखने के लिए मिलती है। तो टॉप टू डाउन अप्रोच जो है वो अथॉरिटेटिव है, थोड़ा सा ऊपर से चीजों को निर्देश कर दिया जाता है कि आपको ऐसा फॉलो करना है और फॉलो कर लिया जाता है। लेकिन जो एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ रूल्स होता है बाय देयर हार्ट, तो वो देखने के लिए नहीं मिलता, वो बस ऐसे ही कर रहे होते हैं मन मार के। लेकिन जो बॉटम अप अप्रोच होता है, जब नीचे से उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लिया जाए, यदि हमने उसके बेनिफिट्स बता दिए बच्चों को इसके ये बेनिफिट्स होंगे, तो उस चीज में उसको एक्सेप्ट करने की जो रूल है वो बढ़ जाती है। और जब बच्चे उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं तो किसी भी टीचर को बोलना नहीं पड़ता। तो अथॉरिटी की जब हम बात करते हैं, तो अगर अथॉरिटी ना हो और बच्चे अपनी तरफ से ही उस चीज को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, तो जाहिर तौर पर वो एक अच्छी बात है। तो पॉजिटिव चेंज की तरफ इस चीज को देखा जा सकता है कि बच्चे रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो रहे हैं ऑल टुगेदर, है ना। वो अपने लिए अच्छे और बुरे की समझ रख पा रहे हैं। और जब बच्चा अच्छे और बुरे की समझ रख पा रहा है, तो भले ही वो अकेला क्यों ना हो, कभी भी अच्छा कर सकता है। बजाय कि जब अथॉरिटी हम उनके ऊपर थोपते हैं और या फिर हम अथॉरिटेटिवली बिहेव करते हैं उनके साथ, तब वो हमारे प्रेजेंस में तो देखने के लिए मिलेगा कि वो अपने अच्छे ढंग से काम कर रहा है, लेकिन इन आवर एब्सेंस वो गलत तरीके से बिहेव कर रहा है। दैट्स व्हाट फ्रॉम माय साइड। थैंक यू।
So that was a video from the teacher. Now
Hello.
you can play this other video, which is from a student. She's actually a alumni. She's studying at NLU Nagpur currently.
Hello, I'm Yuvi Digani. Currently, I'm studying at MNLU Nagpur. I was a part of the student council at Umang Pathshala in year 2020 and 2021 as well. The experience that I gained being a part of the student council was invaluable. It helped me in building and shaping my personality, and I learned several skills such as teamwork, leadership qualities, public speaking, and decision making. The environment of the student council helped me in understanding about the democratic functioning of our country. Democratic values such as liberty, equality, and fraternity were engulfed within me through the ethos of the student council. Student council taught me to be an open-minded individual, wherein I was able to respect the opinions and beliefs of other individuals as well. It taught me invaluable arbitration skills where I could take decision on the basis of mutual consensus and through the use of meaningful discourse over issues. The student council provided an enriching experience wherein I was able to develop holistically as an individual. It engulfed within me democratic values, taught me crucial soft skills that are helping me in my academic and personal life as well. Thank you.
Right. So these are the videos we wanted to show you. Thank you. So yeah, these are our Instagram handles. We would really love if you guys could follow, give us a follow, maybe go to the website, learn more, and that's it. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Malvika ma'am for giving us this opportunity, the whole Sarthi collective. And if anyone has any else questions, they can say so. And I think we have some questions in the chat box. Social media and do you get hurt when you are telling someone who is doing wrong thing? I didn't quite understand the question. So, do I get hurt when I'm asking someone if they're doing the
No.
wrong thing?
If someone is telling you that you are wrong, so
Right. So we try to look at it as not
in a negative manner.
we don't try to look at it as you're making this mistake. This constructive criticism that I know if I improve on this, I will become a better individual. And yeah. We found environmental committee different in your council. Oh, thank you. We actually have some videos on it on our Instagram if you want to see.
The work of our environment committee.
Value driven, love it. Thank you so much. If anybody has any other questions or anything else, they can ask. Otherwise, you have a question.
So I have a question that how you assign the duties of your student council means we have several duties in our student council. So how you make that duties that which types of duty do you have, staircase, lunchtime, and which duty which post has assigned?
Actually, we assign all the duties as a student interest. So whoever takes interest in any activity or whoever take a lead in it, they can.
Yeah, so it's not like you mentioned that duty during lunchtime, and we don't have anything particular. We're not school monitors or class monitors that are above the other students. We are their representative. We have more responsibility than them, but it does not mean we have more power than them. It just means we're responsible, but it does not mean we can showcase our power over them or anything like that. So no, we don't have any duties in which we are the ones who are asking the questions. Like no, it's not nothing like that. But we are for the other roles that the student councillor is based on interest.
And also that for the class representative, class representative are not like a monitor or something like that. They are the person who can represent their whole class if they are facing any issue in any academically or anything. So they represent that in the student council so that we can solve the problem. They are not such kind of a monitor or something like that. So
And we like the cleaning chart. So we try to also understand the student's problem. Like if someone has an allergy where they can't go in much dust, we try to make them in areas where it's not very dusty. So for cleaning chart, we also try to understand, be empathetic, and learn about the uh, problems rather than just influencing their this. Because and in the morning assembly as well, we do the system where it's not you have to do this, you have to do that. It's just interest wise, right? So if does anyone want to sing a poem and everyone sings a poem, so like that it's just
not like
and we have a morning circle. So when we get to school, we all form a circle in the garden, and then we talk about how our day is going to go. So it's not a very fixed structure. We actually go about our day, how we decided in the morning. Maybe shift some things. We'll not do this period. We'll shift this. We'll do this practice right here. So we talk about those things in the morning, and everyone can voice their concerns, raise their concerns. And someone asked, how do you plan and implement an event in the school?
So as we tell you guys that we have every committee as per the all aspect of our school. So for any event, we have cultural committee. So they conduct them, but with the help of all committees. Like if we are having a event, so if we eventually need to clean our school, we need to do our decoration of our school properly. So all the committees, all the students contribute in it.
So yeah, so when we have an event, so 1 month prior, the student council meeting discusses, we have this event upcoming. How are we going to prepare for this? We make a plan. We tell the designated people to come up with a plan. We discuss the plan. Anyone who has any other ideas, suggest their ideas. We do the whole micro planning together in a small groups, and then approve them in the larger group in the larger student council. So when the event comes, actually we have conducted many events where the teachers were actually not involved in any way. Like the sports day, it was completely, the teachers didn't even know what's going to happen. We just told them the requirements, and the sports day went perfectly because the sports committee spent large amounts of time in school and outside of school whenever they got free time. So they it was a great learning experience on how to implement and plan events. And of course, we get help from the teachers whenever we need it, and they're always there to guide us.
And there's one more thing that I want to add. There's we actually do not decide, and we do not actually. Every committee came up with a proposal. So if there any kind of a safai chart, for example, so there's not that environment committee will decide that who will get which part. There's always a proposal. So if we have a 1 week time period in which if anyone have there any doubts or any queries, they can ask them, and if they want to change their duty, they can. So there's
It's not
always
like
we have
student-
decided that there's always a proposal. So for timetable or date sheet, so there's always a proposal, and if anybody want a change, so they have to give the reason behind that change. And if we found it that it is reasonable, and everybody found that it is reasonable and it should be implemented, we change it.
Yeah. So it's not like the committee has total power. Whatever they decide, the school has to follow. They bring out proposals, they work on the events, how they, but everybody has a role in saying what's okay. So any other questions?
So every proposal is, open in a open assembly in which everyone can, state their point of view.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If anybody else have any question
Uh,
or any
I have
doubt.
I have a question that as how you conduct your meeting, because if any teachers help you to conduct the meeting, how you make the plan, who conduct president, vice president, how the attendance is taking, how the minute of the meeting is taken, how the things are discussed.
Okay, so we have answered this question early also, that the president who is elected conduct our student council meeting, and there's also a notice board in which we state that this meeting will held from this time period to this time period, and we can have our topics
We
and
have the agenda
Huh.
that the president puts up, and the teachers are also part of the meeting.
Hmm.
But teachers are just there to guide. If we get stuck on anything, they try not to speak as much, just to let the students uh, learn and take responsibility.
And the vice president of our school take the meeting minutes, and at the end everyone sign it, if they are okay with all the decision. And if someone is not present, they can have their point of view later, or they
Look
have
at the
some
meeting
doubts.
minutes. So
Yeah,
it.
that's how our
So in the meeting
conduct.
minutes, we mentioned the committee's future plan, and if we made any new decisions, if we how we implemented the previous decisions we made. So like that. If student council breaks the rules, then what? It's the same thing, right? That if the student council are the one making the rules, then it's very low chance that they will break it, because they understand why the rules are so.
And
And-
it's, I think, the same for
Yeah.
like if a president break a rule, or a student who is not a part of student council break the rule, I think all the consequences
will be
is
same. Even if a member of the student council breaks the rule, or the whole student council breaks the rule, it's not like the student council has a power over the whole students. So if a student council makes a wrong decision, the rest of the school can come up and they can face the student council. They can talk about it and then maybe come to a consensus. It shouldn't just become fighting about it, but we have to understand each other. And if the student council breaks the rule, then they will be faced with the same consequences as others.
And actually, I have an example of this too. So, there was a time that in our morning assembly, so there are some senior students who get late in our morning assembly. So the all the junior students and teacher protest against them, that they had a rally. And
So they in the assembly, so the senior students who were mostly part of the student council, they were playing badminton and they did not come in the assembly. So everybody in the assembly stormed out. They took up a rally, and they put up slogans like I'll just say the slogan लेट लतीफ या टाइम पे, ऐसा कुछ था. So हिंदी में था. और it was very interesting. And then there was this whole council that was set up right in the middle of the ground, and they questioned us like, "You're part of the council. You are more accountable. How could you have done this?" And then we had to give a formal video apology. So they recorded us like that we will not do this again, and how we were so sorry. So yeah, we had to take a way more responsibility than others. So it's more accountability really, because if
Yes.
some other student does that, it's okay, like okay, you don't do that again. But if a council member does that,
They have
they'll
a
be questioned brutally and they have to apologize.
So yeah.
Yeah, anybody else?
Okay. Can you share a recent conflict that you solved?
So I think they are like little like very small conflict, but we have a really a big debate on our school uniform. So first we do not have any school uniform in our school, but then some students of our school, uh, take up the proposal that we should have a student, a uniform. So that was, a really wrong topic of
Yeah,
debate in
for
our
many
school.
days we discussed upon that topic, and then later when the debates were over, that is when the everybody had come to a common consensus that okay, we understand why we should have an uniform. And those who were part of the non-uniform category, even though they were a minority, they were given the chance to speak, to express their ideas. And now just because our time was 12:30 and it's already 12:40, I would like to thank everybody who's come to listen to our student council. I hope you.
And before we sign off, I just want to say a big thank you for you all being here. And it's been a pleasure sharing our story of Trent Council with you guys and having your thoughts about it. And I hope you are leaving with some fresh ideas and some inspiration to take back to your own school. And let's keep the spirit of student leadership alive and growing. And thank you. And remember, change start with us. Have a nice day. Bye.
If anyone wants to stay back and answer more questions, we're free. We are okay to do that. But anyone who needs to go, thank you so much for joining.
I had a question.
Okay.
Is it possible for having a similar meeting with student
Can't hear
council
you.
from? Can you hear me now? Is it
Yeah.
better? Yeah, I just had a question that how can I reach out to you if we want to conduct a similar meeting with the student council from your school and my school so that we can exchange ideas. Currently, only I have attended. I am the one of the school leadership team member, but I want my student council to interact with both of you and if possible more student council members from your school to exchange ideas and learn.
Yeah.
How can I do that?
You can email us on Umang. Maybe we'll share the email.
We have our Instagram handles, so you can message
You
us
can
and we
message
will
us on
give you our.
Instagram and we can discuss when we can do the meeting, when everyone would be free. And we would be okay to do that. It would be nice to interact from other students from the student council. You can contact us on our email ID, which I'll write down in the chat box right now. And you can mail us there and we'll discuss.
Great, perfect. Thank you so much. And this was really valuable. I'm inspired by your work.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Uh, I have a question that means why you have decide means the post of president means a theme of government.
Uh, I really can't get the question
What
actually.
did you say? I couldn't hear it. Can you repeat the question?
Is that your question that how we get the idea of student council?
Yes, yes, the same question means why the theme was of government. First we have a head boy, head girl, prefects and all things.
Because but I have observed the head boy, head girl prefects were usually the teacher's favorite. But I have observed, I'm not saying every school has such a system. Many schools, the head boy and head girl are doing very good work. But in schools, I have noticed that it's basically what who the teacher wants to be the prefect or whoever gets the best academic score. But we wanted to be a voice of the students whose voices are not getting heard, of every student who